Broadcasting from the heart of the Colorado Rockies, it's 4th and 99 with your hosts, David Slade, Keith Brookman, and Matt Stappiero. Now let's talk football here on 4th and 99.
Hey, good evening, Bronco Country. It's David with 4th and 99. We will be bringing in Matt and Keith here in a minute. But just want to let you guys know, hey, check us out on Facebook, check us out on YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Hit us up on all those locations. And let's talk about a Broncos victory. So let's bring in Matt, let's bring in Keith, and let's talk some football. Gentlemen, how you doing? 2 out of 3. And we won't say which 2, but 2 of us picked the game wrong. So
we gotta celebrate wins when we get wins, boys.
We definitely do. We definitely do. So
we were talking a little bit before the mic, and like I said to Dave, it's nice to be wrong sometimes. I had one of those earlier in the season in our pick'em, and it's nice to be wrong with a Broncos win.
Yeah, it definitely is nice to be wrong when the Broncos win, especially when you pick against them. So it got dicey there for a little bit. Right before the half in our group chat, things were getting a little, a little stressful there for a while. And then third quarter, I mean, we couldn't possess the ball to save our lives. I think we had the ball for a little over 2 minutes in the third quarter, and things just were not looking good. And then, in my opinion, the player of the game, really saved us, with a interception in the end zone, and then later in the game a pick six. And I'm going to go out and say my player of the game is Pat Surtain. Matt, who are you going to give player of the game to?
Of course I want to jump on the bandwagon of PS2, but I'm not going to. I'm going to give it to the run game. They just stayed consistent. And like we talked about in the pregame, it didn't have to be huge chunk plays, didn't have to be a ton of yards. It was just about beating down the defense, and that's what they did today. They beat down the Chargers defense. Yeah,
they definitely did. Keith, and who's your player of the game?
Well, yeah, if anybody tuned into the pregame, I talked about the secondary needing to be the part of our defense that steps up the most, and who didn't do it more than PS2. Interception, and then an interception for a touchdown. If you got to hand out an MVP, you'd have to give it to Pat Surtain, the second.
Yeah, I mean, there is one other. It's a category who really stepped up today and getting pressure on Justin Herbert. The edges and interior defensive line, they had Herbert's number all game. I don't remember the final totals. Before the half, they'd already sacked him twice and had 5 quarterback hits.
Yeah, he ended up with 3 sacks. I don't have the quarterback hits right in front of me, but I'll see if I can find them. But, yeah, they kept him uncomfortable most of the game. I mean, there was a stretch of the game where he sort of got into a rhythm there in the second quarter when they scored to cut the lead 14-7. But, I mean, when the defense needed to, they stepped up and they made the plays that they need. If there's somebody on the team that disappointed you in this victory, who would it be, Keith?
Oh, I get to jump on it first because I know Matt would go the same exact spot as me. Kyle Fuller, he was the one place that I found that, on that defense that, was out of place or was chasing receivers or was, quite honestly getting ran away from some receivers, and other people are having to pick up his detail. So of a defense that absolutely played lights out, to Matt's point, even that first interception by PS2 really had to do a lot to do with that defensive line and the front four and how they were able to get pressure. Had not much to do with Pat Surtain, as it was just kind of really thrown up. So, man, if Kyle Fuller ever could pull it together, we would have a no-fly zone too. I really feel that way.
Yeah, definitely. And Matt, I'm gonna ask you the same question, but I'm thinking you're gonna go the same direction as Keith here.
No, I mean, I guess my disappointment is not on the same side of the ball. It's going to be offensively, and I'm going to throw Drew Lock's name out there, but I'm not going to blame Drew Lock. I think that the play calling while Lock went in was a big momentum shifter. It went completely conservative for a bit. I mean, and then we seen the horrible play where the interception happened and the momentum shifted. That was a big one. It was an awful design. There's three receivers in the same area of the field. Granted, Drew Lock's got to know better by now to throw it away, but he was trying to make a play. He knows that he's fighting for his career right now, and he was trying to make a play. So I don't fault him for that. But the play calling once Lock went in, and then subsequently when he got benched, I was hesitant to see Teddy go back in there. Medical staff, Keith's been preaching we got to trust him. We got to trust him. I was not trusting them when they sent Teddy back out in the third quarter.
No, and not that first series. I mean, he looked like he was coming out from underneath the center really slow and gingerly, when he was doing handoffs. And then when he threw passes, I mean, it looked like he was not able to step into it. So,
yeah.
But I agree. I mean, then he went off and the Chargers went on another long possession, and that's right before. That's when PS2, I think, intercepted the ball in the end zone. But
yeah. That comment real quick that just popped up, Facebook user, unfortunately, I don't know who it is, but coming from Facebook, both quarterbacks disappointed me. Nice surprise was the running backs. I find trouble with that statement. I do, because I don't feel like the quarterbacks played awful. I mean, Teddy Bridgewater ran it in the first quarter for the first big play of the game. He was moving the ball nice. Drew Lock, for the most part, looked pretty fluid, and unfortunately just the one play, the bad read, the bad interception, it kind of derailed all the good that he did. He was moving the ball. He did look somewhat comfortable in that conservative type scheme. They were trusting the run game to get it going, but I mean, he didn't look awful. He looked the most comfortable he may have looked in the last 5 chances we've got to see him. I think today he looked relatively comfortable. He was staying in the pocket. He's making his reads, and I don't give Drew Lock much credit ever, but I feel like he showed some improvement today. Unfortunately, it was all derailed by one play.
Yeah. And that's all it takes. I mean, he rolled out to the right, I think, and I don't know if that was a designed rollout and that was the play, but I tell you what, just a horrible decision to throw that ball. I mean, and James just made a great play on the ball too.
It was super good.
So, I mean, but Locke should have just thrown the thing out of bounds. So,
moving on from Locke, though, I mean, after Teddy came back in the third quarter, after that, the third quarter, Teddy came back and was a big part of a game-winning drive. I mean, look at the play. He's battered up. He evades the sack and finds, Sauber in the back of the end zone to get the first step to, killing the Chargers' momentum. And I think quarterback's going to play horrible today. It could be better, but I mean, we got Teddy Bridgewater, we got Drew Lock. I don't think it gets much better.
Well, right. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not going to get on the whole Drew Lock train for a long time, but he was 4 for 7 for 26 yards, an interception, and a fumble. Just because we recovered it, just because Tim Patrick recovered it and got us the first down out of it. Thank you, Tim Patrick. But I mean, I think that showed me everything. That's the disappointment. That's the reason Teddy Bridgewater's back in there probably earlier than he should be, is because how do you have faith in that? How do you have faith? I mean, I understand the play calling was not to his favor. They were very, very conservative, but my goodness,
I was trying to be nice, Keith. Okay?
I know.
I was trying to be nice because I bashed this poor kid. I beat it. I don't know. I've beaten the dead horse so many times against Lock. But, just to wrap it up real quick on the Lock subject, what today signified is that Drew Lock has no future in Denver, or he would have stayed in the game.
Not with this coaching staff. He does not.
I don't even I think it's even past
right.
that.
And it probably is. I mean, but you can't say that for 100%. You don't know who the coaches are in the future. So
that's fair.
Lock could have a future, but it's highly unlikely, is all I'll say. And with this coaching staff, though, when you're going to put a Teddy Bridgewater out there who's still suffering from the effects of his injury, and he's probably 75-80% at the time.
I don't even know if it was that high.
Right?
Might be stretching it there, Dave.
With a slow limp.
If you're going to put him out there over Drew Lock, that's a resounding statement that this staff is done with him. And I even asked my son the question, why is he even on the roster then? If this staff has lost that much faith in the man, why is he even taking up a roster spot when you could have Rippon be your backup that apparently could probably do just as good of a job as Drew Lock? So But that's my thing. And we'll get off it. I'm going to say my disappointment today, and it's not even a player. It's the coaching staff again. And the thing that really made me disappointed in them is at the end of the first half, we get the ball. The Chargers come down, they score to make it 14-7. There's 31 seconds left. You have Drew Lock in there. He had just thrown an interception previously on the previous possession. So his confidence is probably a little shaken. You come out and just kneel on the ball. Get into the locker room. Let's not try to be cute and go 75 yards in 35 seconds with a quarterback you apparently do not have any faith in. So you come out, you run the ball, take a timeout. Right. You run the ball, get 6 yards, take a timeout. I'm thinking, okay, they took a timeout. They're going to throw it deep. They're going to try to get down into field goal range. And then here they come again, another run for 6 yards. And then they run up. They still have a timeout left. They run up and they spike the ball this time. It's like, okay. And then there's 7 seconds left. They run a crossing play to Judy for 12 yards, and that's it. And I'm just like, what was the point of that exercise? And I'm just having flashbacks to the Washington game, because that would have just been disastrous if somebody put the ball on the ground and the Chargers recovered it. And then next thing you know, they're getting a cheap touchdown at the end of the half. And then they come out in the third quarter. And if they would have drove down and scored again, that would have just deflated this team. So I just think that was a poor decision on the coaching staff. Also, that challenge, that they had. I mean, another thing of why are you challenging this, Fangio? I don't know where he's getting his information from, but that was Herbert was down. I mean, there's no need to challenge, whether the ball came out or not. And if somebody up in the press box can't look at a monitor and tell you that he's down, then we got some issues. So that's my disappointment is the coaching staff, mainly Fangio, because he's the guy in charge. So, all right, off my soapbox there.
Yeah, take it. Yeah. I mean, the challenge was questionable, but one thing I will say about this coaching staff is, as much as I hate to say it, are they just inching, death by inches, inching just closer and closer to a return next season? Because it feels like every single time we get a win, the morale's up. The players are hyping their coach. I mean, in which they should be. We got the vote of confidence from George Payton. We got the ownership questions. It just feels like it's becoming more and more likely that this may be a realistic option. And I know that makes us three fearful, and it makes a lot of Broncos country fearful. But if he squeaks in 8, 9, 10 wins, which we think is unlikely, most of us do. I mean, Keith's been right in the Broncos. He's got the faith in him. He's a little bit different than you and I, Dave. We're trying to, he's got the optimism here.
Right.
But with this win now, what realistically looking at it, what does Vic Fangio need to do to just save his job? Is it 8 wins? Is it 9 wins? Is it playoffs?
I'm gonna say 9 wins minimum for him. And I could see Fangio back, but you need to make a change in offensive coordinator if you bring Fangio back. I mean, you have to, get rid of Shermer and bring in, someone that's going to utilize the talent that we have on this team properly, because, we got some big name receivers here. And we're just not utilizing them properly. What's your thoughts, Keith?
Well, I think we talked about in the pregame, and I really want to go hit back to that because, and first off, thanks for everybody who liked and listened and subscribes and took a listen to that. But we talked about the offensive line or the changes in the bye week that need to happen. And for me, even talking about the Facebook user who said my disappointment is not moving the ball on offense, I think we did a fantastic job up until the time that Teddy Bridgewater got hurt. I think we came out there and we saw plays over the middle and passes that we wanted to see. I think we saw the running game come back exactly like we asked them to do. For me, that just putting aside the coaching and what needs to be, what coaches get taken over from here on out, I think we need to be out here celebrating the win and some of the things that we did right, and hopefully that continues. If that continues, then maybe we won't have to worry about a Pat Shurmur coming back or not coming back. Maybe we end up with a team that looks like they put themselves together in the second half of the game, second half of the year.
Yeah, and we'll definitely apologize. This thing did take a wrong turn somewhere and turned into like we just lost this game.
No,
So
absolutely.
I mean,
No.
yeah, and hey,
Celebrate, baby.
And we need to. We celebrate, be happy. We beat the Chargers, the same team that went out and hung 41 points on the Steelers last week.
Yep.
We contained them. I mean, we held them in check. I mean, Austin Eckler, 12 carries for 31 yards. I mean, we really contained him. I mean, he got a little loose in the running or the passing game. 6 catches, 68 yards. So, but we did what we set out to do, and that was to minimize him. And I think once we took him away, that sort of put a lot more pressure on Herbert. And we talked about this in the pregame. We need some organic pressure on Herbert, and we got there for the most part without blitzing. I mean, so
yeah, there were some creative stunts in there.
Yeah, there definitely was. And Matt brought this up, I think, and we need to celebrate another thing too. Is Chubb made it through the game and didn't get injured, so that's a good sign, And I even saw him at least one time, around the tackle. So, I mean, but yeah, I think he just needed to get out there, and get back into one game, Now let's see if they can push him. Let's see if Chubb can step up, and let's see if he's finally healthy, because we're going to need him in Kansas City. So we definitely are. So
there was a really good question that popped up here a minute ago by Kenny Kirkpatrick. He was talking about, he's seen Javon. He didn't get a chance to watch the game, but he did get to see one play where Javonte Williams hit the hole pretty hard for about a 10-yard gain. He asked us if it was time for Javonte Williams to take over as RB1. We kind of touched on it this morning a little bit. We're all pounding the tables for it. I think we want to see more Williams. But after today, Gordon bounced back well. And, maybe as much as we want to see this young kid run, maybe it's best to keep it, at a 50, 55-40 or whatever is it, 55-45 split. And maybe it's best to see it that way because, Gordon was hitting the hole hard today too. We got one of the best RBCs, I think, in the league right now.
Yeah, we definitely do. I mean, Melvin Gordon, 17 carries, 83 yards. Williams, 14 for 54 and a touchdown. So Williams was really good in the pass game too. Yep. So, and that's one thing I like today. I think we saw more use of the screen game today.
Oh yeah,
more than we normally see, and I think that really helped Teddy at the beginning of the game too. Is to use the screen game and sort of slow down that pass rush a little bit. So
absolutely. We saw, and like I said, celebrated because we saw a game plan that was, I think, good on both sides of the ball. Not only did we see a running game that returned, and even from the get-go, we saw some really quick passes out of Teddy Bridgewater. The very first one was a quick one right out to the edge to Cortland Sutton. It was only for like 3-4 yards, but it was a quick pass gotten out of his hands. And then we flip over to the defensive side of the ball, and one thing that I was calling about, and one thing that you heard in the broadcast was that zone defense we ended up playing, completely different than what we had seen in the weeks past, and it messed up Herbert's timing. We were able to get pressure on with 4, and we were able to sit back in a zone and knock down passes and have good coverage, and outside of maybe a Fuller mistake or two, really a fantastic game on the other side of the ball.
Oh, defense was beautiful. Another good positive that I noticed today is we didn't see a ton of plays drawn up for behind the line of scrimmage. We saw those couple screen plays, but there wasn't any of those weird little flat routes that are, a yard behind or a yard, a yard past the line of scrimmage. We didn't see any of that junk today. And that was a huge kudos to oh God, I'm going to say this, a huge kudos to Pat Shurmur for that. That burned a little coming out, man.
A little golf clap for Pat Shurmur, I mean, we don't want to give him a roaring applause. We'll give him the golf clap.
We have to give him some credit. I mean, overall, it was a good game plan that was executed fairly well. I mean, we had some little bumps in the road here and there, but for the most part, I mean, it was a good game plan. The defense, at times, it was like, okay, especially the third quarter, it's like, all right, what's going on here, guys? Well, we cannot get off the field. So,
Yeah.
I mean, but
Yeah.
I think we did come in with solid game plan on both sides of the ball, and I don't recall one special teams blunder.
No.
Anybody?
Nope.
No, the only thing I would say is, and I was sitting there yelling at the TV with my wife sitting next to me, thinking I was crazy. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there listening can probably relate to me. But Deontay Spencer, my goodness, that guy! It seemed like he had a chance to run right up the middle, and he wants to get behind his blocker, runs right in the back of his blocker.
Oh, number 12 you're talking about, right?
11.
Bounced
11.
off him 12.
Oh, 12.
11.
Twice.
Yeah,
it's number 12. Spencer's 11.
Yeah. Now you get
I'm
what you're
sorry,
saying now.
Yeah. But just the returns in general. I mean, it seemed like we had opportunities, but I mean, it wasn't a blunder. You're absolutely right, David. I would just like to see a better returner. Maybe KJ Hamler can come back and return.
Right.
For us.
And it's something my son even said about, Spencer, come on, run north and south, I mean,
Yes.
he does a lot of running, side to side. And I mean, I wish sometimes he would just hit the lanes, and make him move. The guy's fast, so he could definitely get some longer returns, I think, if he ran like that. But hey, I've never returned punts, so I don't know. I don't know what it's like back there with the whole bunch of guys just barreling down at you. So
it is terrible.
So
yeah,
my least favorite position I've ever played.
Oh yeah, I can imagine. I mean, it's one thing to be trying to catch a pass, just in general, right? It's another thing to have that big old high punt just dangling up in the air, having to judge it, make sure you don't fumble it off your fingertips, and then wait for the hit. As soon as you got to watch that ball into your hands. I just can't even imagine, Matt. So
yeah, no, it was terrible. And I'm pretty close to Deontay Spencer's size, and we ain't trucking nobody.
No.
we ain't running nobody over.
No, you're not running anybody over.
You just hoping that you don't get obliterated and you hold on to the ball. That's really all it is. You just gotta make the catch. But real quick, we kind of have jumped forward. We've gone through all these different directions. We forgot about the unsung heroes of the game, and that's Quinn Bailey, Quinn Miners, Lloyd Cushenberry, Tony Moody, and Cam Fleming.
When Calvin Anderson went down,
I thought
I thought it was done. I'm like,
Agreed.
We're in big trouble. And Bailey came in and played a very good game. So,
yeah, it's huge kudos to both of all three of the tackles. Anderson when he was in, Bailey when he got his shot to shine, and Fleming. Joey Bosa was essentially a non-factor today.
Yeah. Has anybody heard any injury updates on Anderson?
I have not.
Okay.
Yeah.
So.
Hoping for the best for him, man. That looked like a rough injury as he was getting carted off. He did not look like a very happy gentleman.
No, he did not. So, and I don't know, broken ankle or Achilles or something. So, but he was grabbing at that ankle area and didn't seem too happy about it. So,
yeah, and I'm not seeing anything. Just real quick. Nothing in there. But real quick, non-Broncos news. There was a pretty major injury from what I read. I didn't get a chance to go back and look at it, but Vikings running back Dalvin Cook was carted off the field today. That's a huge loss for Minnesota if it's something serious.
Yeah, it definitely is. And they ended up losing today's game to the 49ers, 34-26 or 28, I think. So, but yeah, I mean, sad. I mean, it seems like every week we're seeing injuries. And somebody here is saying severe knee injury. So I'm thinking they're talking about Dalvin Cook there. So
yeah, it's not looking good. Not looking good. I just did a quick Twitter search, going through, see if anything's came out on Anderson. Nothing. I did a quick search on Reisner because, unfortunately, he's been battling injuries all season. And
right.
Now here we are with yet another one. So we got to see. Hopefully these guys are okay. Injuries are a scary part of the game, and all we can do is hope that they can get back and healthy. They got a life outside of football.
Right. Yeah, definitely. So, and this is a good comment here. Next week, it does get a lot tougher. We're going into Arrowhead. Chiefs defense is gelling. They're starting to play better. I'm not going to say if they're way better than the Chiefs or the Chargers. I mean, we've seen the Chiefs give up a lot of points at times, but they seem to be getting better. And that offense, I mean, we just need to find ways to make Mahomes uncomfortable, because we've seen it can be done.
And we've done it before.
Right.
We've made him uncomfortable before.
Right. And that's what we're going to have to do. So, but we'll break that down a lot more Wednesday. And then we'll talk about that next Sunday on the pregame show. So, and everyone remember, that game has been flexed till the Sunday night game. So Denver gets another primetime game, and it's time for them to go out, see if we can make a better showing than our last primetime appearance.
Yes.
Excuse me. And I do want to correct one thing I said earlier. I said Denver will be playing for the AFC West division lead, which they could be if Washington helps us out. If Denver wins and the Raiders win, then the Raiders are in first place because of tiebreaker. So we'll still need the Washington football team to help us out and beat the Raiders next weekend. So
we're just gonna assume they lose because it's the Raiders. They got to drop one. We don't. I'm just kidding.
Well, no, you're the one that keeps picking them, Matt.
Well, it just shows you how much I don't trust the NFC East. So guess who I'll be picking next week? Spoiler alert: Oakland. I mean Las Vegas. Oh dang it, busted.
Another dollar. Man, we're up to $4 now.
Up to the jar, I'm going to start collecting, and then when it gets full enough, we're going to go over to Willow's Spice and Seasoning and get some grill, some spices,
get some good seasonings. So,
real quick before we kind of wrap up, non-Bronco stuff. We seen a NCAA coach pull the Mel Tucker special, and Lincoln Riley decided.
Well, no. And I'm going to clarify: Lincoln Riley did not lie. What Lincoln Riley said last night is, "I will not be the coach of LSU Tigers."
But he did say also.
Well, that's true. He did.
He remains committed to Oklahoma.
Well, he was committed for those 15 minutes. So,
so he pulled the midnight mail on us, and surprising, Dave. I wanted to get your opinion on it because I know you're a big LSU fan. Oklahoma's going to the SEC. LSU's in the SEC. Is this just the thing that Lincoln Riley wants nothing to do with?
I think
SEC?
It is. I think Lincoln Riley does not want to coach in the SEC.
Lincoln Riley is a fraud. Bam, comment of the year right there.
Yeah, right there. And I think he is. He doesn't want to go face the Nick Sabans and the Jimbo Fishers and whoever Florida gets. And I mean, there's some big name coaches and big name programs, and maybe he just does not feel comfortable going there. So it'll be interesting to see who LSU lands. I mean, they're sitting on the sidelines. Some people are still saying it's going to be Jimbo Fisher. So, I mean, he has ties to LSU. He has ties to the athletic director that's at LSU right now. So,
yeah, Bob
we'll see where it goes.
Is stepping in for Lincoln Riley, from what I understand.
Yeah, as the interim. As the interim, he is. But LSU, I mean, I know we'll get off this here quickly, but they need to make a decision quickly because early signing is December 15th. So you want to have your staff in place. So, in other words, your recruits are going to be like, well, I'm not going there. You guys don't even know who your coach is. So you got to get somebody on board. And I'm just going to say this. I want LSU to make a run at Lane Kiffin. If we struck out on Lincoln Riley, then go after Lane Kiffin because that guy's an offensive mastermind as well.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
All right. So, great game today. All of us agree, even Matt does. We're going to twist his arm and say PS2 was the player of the game.
There you go.
Right. I mean, Melvin Gordon did have a great game. Melvin Gordon had a good game. Javonte Williams had a good game. I mean, overall, what grade would you give this as a team grade? Keith, what would you give this?
I give this a B+. Overcoming injuries, injured quarterback, injured offensive lineman, put together a great game plan on both the offensive and defensive side. Only time they struggled is when they were dealing with those injuries. Got the win against a great AFC West team and have the future in front of them. A B+, man. Yeah,
we do. We do own the Chargers. I think we beat them like 15 out of the last 19 games now.
Yep.
So we have their number, and let's continue to have their number. Now we need to be able to figure out Kansas City. Matt, what's your grade?
I'll keep it short and sweet. I give it an A just because of how these players stepped in today, especially that offensive line. It's an A+ for effort today.
Yeah, I'm gonna go A as well. I just think all the adversity and everything that they overcome. Teddy gets banged up, in comes Drew Lock, and then Calvin Anderson, he goes out. Guys just getting banged up, and the guys just kept fighting on. I mean, one guy, Teddy impressed me, and you guys know how I've been about Teddy the last couple weeks after that Philadelphia game, but the way he tucked that ball and ran 11 yards and dove into the end zone. I mean, I think that was sort of his statement to the team. Hey guys, I'm in this. My bad on the non-tackle. So, but I think that was him saying, you know what, I'm committed to this. So, but
yeah, absolutely.
Let's hope he gets healthy. I mean, hopefully it's not the what'd you say, Matt? A bone contusion?
Yeah, deep bruise contusion. Yeah.
So, and depending on where it's at, I mean, those things can linger a while. So, hopefully he gets some treatment and he's ready because we're going to need all hands on deck next week for Kansas City. So, all right, Keith, any parting shots from you?
Yeah, Broncos fans, Rocky Mountain Sports Network fans, 4th&99 fans, go in Monday morning being proud. You got a great win against the Los Angeles Chargers. Ooh. Just know that the fact that I know that was so close. I so wanted to put out a San Diego there, but just know that you got obviously we got a tough stretch ahead of us. This is our do or die stretch. So be prepared, get your seatbelt ready. Tune into 4th&99 so you can get the breakdowns.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks, Keith. And this was a must win for us today, and we took care of it. So still alive. Matt, parting shots from you.
For at least one more week. It's in Teddy we trust for one more week. We'll see where we're at next week.
Yeah, definitely. And everybody, like Keith said, going to work tomorrow morning, chest out. You know what happened last time Keith said to do this, so let's proceed with caution. So, but hey guys, enjoy it tonight, everybody. Thanks for coming in, giving us the comments and sharing the evening with us. Thanks for recapping the Bronco game. A wonderful victory. So now we can go watch. We got to have Cleveland lose tonight because they're sitting right ahead of us. So that's one of the teams that we need the Raven. Even though I picked Cleveland, I'm going to go ahead and sacrifice and say, go ahead, let's go Baltimore. Let's beat them. A couple other teams in front of us that we're going to need some help. People getting knocked off so we can start sliding up into the wild card area and not in the hunt anymore. So that'll definitely be good. So, but Matt, Keith, thanks for coming on tonight. It's been a great show. Remember, everybody, Wednesday, 6 p.m., James Marilat from 104.3 The Fan will be on here. Woo, woo! And we're going to talk to him about Jerry Jeudy and why he considers Jerry Jeudy a bust. And there's a bunch of other crazy takes that James Marilat has that we will definitely talk to him about. So, everybody, make sure you go to Facebook, like, follow, go to YouTube, like, subscribe. And follow Rocky Mountain Sports Network. Just remember, everything's changed from Sports Report to Sports Network. Go to Twitter, go to Instagram, follow us, like us, and hey, let your friends know about us, I think we got a good thing going here. We got a top-notch production guy helping us out now. All these cool graphics and everything else we got going on. So we'll give a little shout out to Chris behind the scenes. Thanks for everything you do for us, Chris. We really appreciate it. So, hey, guys, you guys have a great night. Everybody out there, have a great night. Enjoy a Bronco victory. And we will be back Wednesday at 6 p.m. Thank you.
See you Wednesday.